Okay, it's January 17th, 2019. We're going to do a third contact / channeling with the Andromedans. They have confirmed as of yesterday evening that they wanted to do this today.
Yep.
And anything you want to say, Bob, before you attempt to lock into their signal and then channel them?
Okay. It's interesting, just a matter of moments ago, probably not more even than a minute and a half ago, I began picking up or hearing a very high-pitched, very subtle signal, which I believe is theirs, the Andromedans. Paul says he's been picking it up most of the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
And I want to say before we start on this that I know a lot of people who watch these Andromedan channeled sessions are very interested in spirituality and spiritual growth, and that's great. If you might not know this, we have other offerings on YouTube that are about 20 minutes each episode of a book that channeled through me in 1985 called T.I.s, Love Letters from God.
Good point, yeah.
And it really deals with spiritual growth and development and messages right from the ultimate source. You can't get any higher than that. So you might want to check those out. And for those who are interested in the UFO ET phenomena factor in these channelings from Andromeda, also on YouTube we have a series of 20-minute episodes, I guess you want to call it, of alien contacts in Bob's life, my life. And that can help, give you another view of the situation with contacts with our friends and some not so friends from the stars. Okay.
And that's basically your biography as well.
Oh yeah. There's stuff that's left out there wasn't time to put in, but that's okay.
It's like a written or audio book of Bob's biography in just over 7 hours.
Yeah.
Of broken down 22 tapes.
I'm on Facebook under Robert Nelson. You can find me if you want to chat with me or do a friend request. That would be fine. Be more than glad to chat with anyone. Maybe I can fill in some blanks that there just wasn't time enough to put on these different sessions. Anyway, enough said. I have to get into an altered state for this communication to happen. Seeing a heart form in front of me right now and lit up.
Okay, greetings.
Hello. We are attempting to streamline the effect of bringing these sessions through.
A way to make it easier, you mean, for Bob?
Shorter time in starting the session. Shorter time in the link between him and us.
Oh, great. Okay.
We are the Andromedan collective living automated intelligence. There are many souls put together to make these sessions possible. and they come together as one. Some of them are even hosted by beings who are known to us and to our favored son, Bob, as the Zehayan priests.
Oh, cool, yeah.
These beings are the opposites of the lords of Orbis, who were the Dark Lords, who attempted to imprison the one you know as the Archangel Michael, somewhat unsuccessfully. It was at that time that Michael sent his son, our favored son, through whom we are channeling now, to your galaxy and your world. We will give you a brief description of one of our worlds. We promised you in the last session we would attempt to do this, but then there are other issues we need to discuss with you.
Okay.
Imagine a snow-swept world with mountain peaks and snow being blown by harsh winds, and then crystal cities grown from genetic crystal stock, actually each building being a form of DNA. These crystals harnessing the light of twin suns that could be used for heat and for growth of flora, plant life, within the area and a perimeter near the cities themselves. Ours is a culture of beauty. It is a culture of humane attitude and cooperation with the nature of the worlds in which we find ourselves. There is another being who has just entered the room. It is a watcher. We are sure you have something better to do with your time. Many of our worlds are not so harsh as the one I just described in terms of natural forces. But Ice Age freezes are not unnatural. They are not unheard of. They are part of the cycle of nature in all worlds sustaining the potential for life, just as they have been on your world in the what you call distant past. There are other worlds in Andromeda, in which we have fair conditions across various belts of the worlds, and we have crystal cities grown again genetically, and moving pools of water streaming down across from the tops of these crystal cities, which condense the water from the air, and it makes pools that are then given motion.
So we call those lakes and streams and rivers. Water that comes down from the mountains are like mountain streams, and when they get bigger, we call them rivers.
This may not be a term that hydro constructs, because the crystalline nature pulls the water from the air and funnels it down over the crystal constructions till it meets the ground and forms, you might say, pools around somewhat shallow pools around cities.
Oh, so these are engineered.
Yes.
So the water is not flowing down, from the mountain like in it's not coming in contact with the earth. It's coming in contact with all engineered, materials and whatnot.
In some places, in others it does come like you would refer to as a snow melt,
Mm-hmm.
and you have waterfalls coming down mountains into streams
Okay.
or rivers, even in some cases Great Lakes. And no, we're not speaking of the Great Lakes in your country.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be no confusion about that.
Sounds pretty.
It most certainly is.
And this is just like one of your main worlds you're describing.
Yes.
And but it's a typical world. So,
Is any world really typical?
well, I mean, in terms of weather, is it typical that most of the worlds you inhabit are windswept and full of snow?
No.
So you have some that are much warmer and temperate?
Yes. There are some worlds which are more what you would refer to as tropical,
Okay.
but these are mostly inhabited by temporary settlements. We believe our very ancient ancestors used to live in worlds of this nature as well as in deserts.
Mm-hmm.
We need now to shift topic to another issue.
Okay.
We have become aware of much that is going on, in your terms, behind the scenes in your governments.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you wish to believe it or not, your country and a country that would on the surface appear to be an enemy, Russia, are both combining efforts to throw out the ruling reptilian fallen elite.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
No intelligence, not us, not the reptilian alliance newly formed, not even what you referred to as the God or the Creator, could solve these problems for you until your people began to stand firm and solve the problems themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then and only then could other forces come in to augment and work with you and assist you. And they were waiting. You have a term in the wings to
Mm-hmm.
do so.
Excellent.
Things are about to change in your world. It, in some cases, will be quite
Radical?
silent, behind the scenes.
Okay.
Because if you have a silent, passive, peaceful revolution, then you have a revolution of heart and humaneness.
Yes.
Your people cannot man this revolution with violence, guns, and weaponry. You will not take your guns and go out and shoot others up. This will not be the way of what is to become the next human step on Earth, which is beginning at this time, and even slightly before this time.
Good.
It came to our knowledge that the reptilians alone could not handle making improvements in your world,
Mm-hmm.
because they were the ones who helped make the problems. And then when they turned around in order to help you get over these problems, they were warned that there would be a war between Earth and the reptilians.
We heard that.
We then came into the picture, so to speak, and told the reptilians to leave. They did. They did so willingly. We did not threaten them. We let them know that we would not tolerate resistance on their part, though, But instead of obeying their normal standard of starting a war with anyone who would stand up to them, they back down. They want a better future for their people as much as we do for ours and yours.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't, since that time, invited them to return on a limited basis to help us to ferret out areas where information can lead to results and where firmness on their part or our part can work hand in hand with efforts on the part of those humans who are risking their lives to bring about a better future for everyone considered. There will be changes, of course, some of which may be financially harmful originally. In some countries there may be a need for what you call martial law. You already have this in your country. It was started with what is known as the Patriots Act, but it is a mild form of martial law. There are those individuals in your governments and behind the scenes who wish to see you ease into a better world and to make it as painless as possible. Your cooperation on this can make that feasible. If you decide to take up guns and try to force a difference, then you are part of the problem, not part of the cure. You have a right to stand up for yourselves, but you can decide not to cooperate with that which is, as you would call it, evil. That does not mean you have to take missiles, cannons, and rockets to fire on the evil. It means you simply declare yourself as a sovereign being and as the sovereign being of all creation. We have been compromising some of your satellites. We haven't finished with that yet.
Good.
And no government on Earth will be able to stop this. So far we are finding actual intent to cooperate.
And just to be clear, the satellites I believe you're talking about are the ones that are being used for harmful electronic harassment of people of Earth, right?
More than harassment, reconditioning of the DNA
Yes.
in your bodies and your brains.
Yes, and we call that, people that are being affected like that is known as targeted individuals. And one of the overall terms of the people that are being targeted individuals that are being exposed to that, it's called gang stalking. I'm just saying this to be clear so people know it's easily looked up. There's lots of videos about this, but many people that have a lot of good information explaining this, and there are remedies to this. Not to get into it, but one of the things is to work on your health in various ways. You can help to mitigate a lot of the effects.
Work also on your concept of faith.
Yes.
If you have a strong faith, nothing can take over because there's simply no room for it to. You yourselves, individually, are the creator of your being. This is not artistic. This is not figurative. This is reality. And so only if you permit others to have governance over you can it be done like this. Only if you permit others to gain a foothold in your mind and heart can these technologies be fruitful against you. But you can in fact stand against them simply by knowing your relationship with yourself and your relationship with your God. In this, you have the personal strength to say, I don't care what's being aimed at me, it has no influence unless I open up, give up, and apathetic, and sit back and allow it. So do not sit back and allow it. Live your lives. Do not be afraid to come together to strengthen one another. We had to learn this a long time ago, and if we can learn it, you certainly can. We're here to tell you you are on the doorstep of an amazing brotherhood, transgalactic, between galaxies.
That's exciting.
If you had any idea what is ahead for you, you would be dancing with your neighbors in the streets.
Nice.
At this time, this will be the end of our contact with you for this particular contact. There will be more to come. We, again, limit the period of time we come through because of the influence it might have on our favored son's mind. This is not a normal channeling to him. There is a technological issue here. He is used to channelings being done with beings who are not of a technological nature. While we represent beings who are not technology, we are a composite will being presented through a living technology. With this, we wish you a fine and happy day and a great life. Remember, stand firm and strong within yourself and within your relationship that you have to your Creator.
Thank you. And you'll be back in about a week, you think?
Very probable, perhaps before.
Excellent. Thank you.
We will quote that which is something we have found in our favorite son's mind. He often says, Godspeed.
Yes.
We are all on a journey. Your people and ours. And so Godspeed us together on our journey.
And to you guys. Thank you.